Emma Chen had learned early that life didn't hand out fairy tales to girls from the wrong side of Chicago. Her mother had cleaned office buildings until arthritis claimed her hands. Her father had left when she was 6, leaving behind nothing but the faint scent of cigarette smoke and broken promises. Emma had fought for everything: scholarships, jobs, every single step forward. She'd clawed her way into a marketing coordinator position at one of the city's most prestigious firms, working under the legendary Maxwell Sterling himself. And now, staring at this ultrasound, she felt all that hard work crumbling beneath her feet. She needed to tell someone, anyone. Her best friend Sarah would know what to say, would hold her hand and help her figure out the impossible. Mathematics of single motherhood. Emma's fingers moved across her phone screen through tear-blurred vision, attaching the ultrasound image to a message. "Sarah, I don't know what to do. I'm so scared." She hit send and collapsed onto her worn couch, letting the sobs finally break free. 40 stories above the city, in an office with floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking Lake Michigan, Maxwell Sterling's phone buzzed. He glanced at it with the same clinical efficiency he applied to everything in his meticulously ordered life. 38 years old, self-made billionaire, engaged to Victoria Ashford, daughter of old money and older expectations. His wedding was in 3 weeks. The invitations alone had cost more than most people's cars. The message appeared on his screen from Emma Chen, one of his marketing coordinators. "Good worker," he recalled distantly. Quiet, competent. He opened the message expecting a work question, perhaps something about the Henderson campaign. Instead, an image loaded, and Maxwell found himself staring at an ultrasound. Below it, "Sarah, I don't know what to do. I'm so scared." Maxwell sat back in his leather chair, his mind processing the obvious mistake. She'd meant to send this to someone else. The right thing to do was to delete it. Pretend he'd never seen it. Preserve her privacy and his carefully maintained professional distance. His finger hovered over the delete button. But something stopped him. Maybe it was the raw vulnerability in those words. Maybe it was the memory of his own mother. Pregnant and alone at 19 when his biological father had abandoned them both. Maybe it was the quiet desperation he'd noticed in Emma's eyes lately, the way she'd been taking on extra projects, volunteering for weekend work, signs he'd recognized but hadn't questioned, because they'd benefited his bottom line. He looked across his office at the framed photo of Victoria, all polished perfection and practiced smiles. Their engagement had been more merger than romance, orchestrated by families who dealt in influence and appearances. He told himself love would grow, that partnership and mutual respect were enough, that the hollow feeling in his chest was just pre-wedding jitters. Maxwell made a decision that surprised even himself. He called his assistant. "Karen, I need you to find out everything you can about Emma Chen's current situation, quietly, and cancel my afternoon appointments." By 5 o'clock, Maxwell had a fuller picture. Emma lived alone. No family support system. No father listed on any emergency contacts. She'd been taking every overtime opportunity. Had even inquired about salary advances. The pieces formed a portrait of someone drowning quietly, too proud to ask for a life preserver. He found her still at her desk long after everyone else had left, staring at her computer screen with hollow eyes. She jumped when his shadow fell across her workspace. "Mr. Sterling!" "I'm so sorry, I didn't realize you were still here." "I can have the Morrison brief ready by—" "Emma." His voice was gentler than she'd ever heard it. "We need to talk." Terror flooded her features. "If this is about my performance, I promise You sent me a message today." By mistake. The color drained from her face. She looked like she might be sick. "Oh God, Mr. Sterling, I'm so sorry. That was meant for my friend. I would never—" "How far along are you?" The question hung in the air between them. Emma's eyes welled with tears she'd been fighting all day. 10 weeks, she whispered. "I just found out yesterday." "I'm sorry, I know this is unprofessional. I'll resign if you need me to." "Stop." Maxwell pulled up a chair, sitting down beside her rather than towering over her desk. The gesture was so unexpected that Emma's rehearsed apologies died on her lips. "Tell me about the father." "He's gone." "He doesn't know." "Doesn't want to know." Her voice cracked. "I'm alone." Maxwell was quiet for a long moment. When he spoke again, his voice carried a weight of old pain. "My mother was 19 and alone when she had me. My biological father wanted nothing to do with us. She worked 3 jobs, slept 4 hours a night, sacrificed everything. I watched her break herself trying to give me opportunities. He met Emma's shocked gaze. She died when I was 22, never got to see me build Sterling Industries. Never got to rest. I'm so sorry, Emma whispered. Don't be sorry. Maxwell stood, his decision crystallizing. Be ready for some changes. As of tomorrow, you're promoted to Senior Marketing Director with a significant salary increase. Full benefits, including comprehensive parental leave. I'm also arranging for you to move into one of the company's corporate apartments. Better neighborhood. Better schools nearby. Emma stared at him, unable to process the words. Mr. Sterling, I can't accept charity. It's not charity. It's correcting a system that punishes people for having families. It's making sure talent doesn't get lost because of circumstances. He paused, something shifting in his expression. It's doing what someone should have done for my mother. Over the next 2 weeks, Maxwell threw himself into restructuring. Sterling Industries family support. Programs with the same intensity he'd once reserved for hostile takeovers. Paid parental leave. Subsidized childcare. Flexible hours. His board questioned the sudden shift in priorities. Victoria questioned why he was canceling. Wedding planning meetings to interview daycare providers. This is absurd, Maxwell, Victoria said coldly over dinner at her parents' estate. You're jeopardizing our timeline for some employee's sob story? Her name is Emma. I don't care what her name is. You're acting like some white knight, completely inappropriate for a man in your position. What will people think? Maxwell looked at his fiancée, really looked at her, and saw clearly for perhaps the first time. They'll think I have humanity. They'll think I give a damn about people beyond their productivity metrics. This is about that woman, isn't it? God, Maxwell, if you're having some midlife crisis, this is about remembering who I am, where I came from. My mother used to come home with bleeding hands from scrubbing floors so I could have school supplies, and I'd forgotten that. I'd become the kind of person who wouldn't have hired her, who would have seen her as a liability instead of a human being fighting, like hell to survive. Victoria's expression hardened. If you cancel this wedding over your sudden attack of conscience, my father will make sure you regret it. We have agreements, Maxwell, contracts. Then let him. Try. Maxwell removed the engagement ring from his pocket and placed it gently on the table. I can't marry someone who sees kindness as weakness. I won't. The scandal exploded across Chicago's social circles. The billionaire who canceled his society wedding. The rumors were vicious. Affair, secret baby, mental breakdown. Maxwell endured them with quiet dignity, focusing instead on Emma, who was mortified that her mistaken text had somehow derailed his entire life. You shouldn't have done this, she told him, tearfully when news of the broken engagement reached the office. Your whole life, your reputation, was built on a foundation of forgetting where I came from, Maxwell finished. You didn't ruin anything, Emma. You reminded me of something I'd lost. As Emma's pregnancy progressed, something unexpected bloomed between them. Conversations that started about work stretched into discussions about books, about dreams, about the kind of parent each wanted to be. Maxwell found himself attending her doctor's appointments, not out of obligation but genuine care. Emma discovered that beneath the billionaire exterior was a man who remembered what it meant to struggle, who hadn't always forgotten. The baby arrived on a snowy February morning, a girl with Emma's dark eyes and a cry that seemed to shatter and remake the world simultaneously. Maxwell was there, had been there through 12 hours of labor, holding Emma's hand, whispering encouragement. When the nurse asked if he wanted to hold his daughter, Emma didn't correct her. Neither did Maxwell. Lily, Emma murmured, watching Maxwell cradle the tiny human with surprising gentleness. I want to name her Lily. It was your mother's name. Maxwell's eyes filled with tears for the first time in 2 decades. She would have loved you. Both of you! They married quietly, 8 months later in a courthouse ceremony, with Sarah as their only witness. No society photographers, no multi-tiered cake, no guest list of people measuring the value of relationships in tax brackets. Just 2 people who'd found each other through an accidental message and a choice to see. Humanity over convenience. Years later, Lily would ask about how her parents met. Emma would pull out her phone and show her daughter that fateful ultrasound image, the one that had gone to the wrong number at exactly the right time. The best things in life, Emma would say, Maxwell's arm around her shoulders, often come from our most terrifying mistakes. From moments when we're most vulnerable, most scared, most completely ourselves. And sometimes, if we're very lucky, there's someone ready to see that vulnerability not as weakness, but as the most honest kind of strength. Maxwell would add, kissing his daughter's forehead, and sometimes, the most successful thing you can ever build isn't a company or a fortune. It's a family. Real, messy, imperfect, and absolutely worth every sacrifice. The ultrasound image, slightly faded now, remained framed in their home, not as a reminder of a mistake, but as evidence that the right message, sent to the wrong person at the perfect time, can change everything.